Hey everyone, just wanted to hop on real quick and talk a little bit about finances and saving accounts and lingo and kind of planning for the future with our finances personally and for our businesses. So, I'm just going to kind of go through some common questions that people have in regards to financial planning. And then, of course, as always, open door policy. Feel free to ask any questions and keep the conversation going so we can assist each other in planning for the future. But so the big things with finances that a lot of people get tripped up on the lingo of kind of what profession does which role. And so, kind of some of the main ones are there's financial bookkeepers, there's accountants, and then there's financial planners. And so, bookkeepers are going to be the ones who are tracking your day to day expenses and who are putting together kind of profit and loss statements and really trying to figure out like what's coming in that month and what's going out that month. Sometimes people hire out for bookkeepers and sometimes people do it their own and or use QuickBooks or Xero or something like that to assist them in their bookkeeping. An accountant is a really great person to have on your team and is really a fantastic resource, kind of dealing with your numbers, but they can really assist you in managing the day-to-day numbers of your practice for kind of your accounts payable, accounts receivable, your tax planning, of course, filing your taxes. And they're going to assist you in getting your numbers straight in order to see like the health of your business and kind of what future steps you can take in regards to creating more profit. And then a financial planner is someone who can assist you in reaching your personal and professional financial goals. So, with individuals who are self employed, like most of us are, the lines between personal and business finances really becomes like very quickly blurred compared to if you were working for an agency or corporation. And so, a financial planner is really trained to help you set clear goals and kind of clear up some of those blurs that are happening. But they're going to help you with retirement, maybe doing personal planning in regards to like buying a house or doing expansions or really just looking into the future to make sure that you're kind of set up in a way to continue living the life that you live and or reach those financial goals. And so, some advice from financial planners, of course, is to save and to kind of set plans and to make sure that we're able to reach those goals, whatever they may be. Everyone's is going to be a little bit different professionally and personally. And so, we want to make sure that we're saving for the future. If we're not saving for the future, it's going to be a really hard time for the longevity of our businesses to continue. And so, what that may mean is having separate saving accounts personally and professionally. And so, some of the advice from financial planners is to have separate, like multiple saving accounts for personal and multiple saving accounts for your business, so you can kind of keep track of everything and keep it separate. So, maybe for your business, that looks like having a separate savings account just for self-employment tax, a separate savings account for emergencies, a separate savings account for like an office expansion or whatever your kind of business goals are, because then you can make clear decisions and prioritize how much money you're funding those savings accounts. And for situations like we're in now, during that emergency time where maybe some of our caseloads have dropped down, of course, those governmental spaces to get on some type of financial unemployment is fantastic in those places, but we also want to make sure that we have kind of our personal and professional savings accounts really robust for these emergency type situations. And then so kind of for the professional or the personal route of things, like maybe you have a separate savings account for your emergency funds, for your vacation fund, for a house reno fund, or etc. Again, really being able to like have clear-cut boundaries on which account is for what, because if not, during a time of emergency or crisis or whatever it may be, we're in a stress response, so we're not always thinking the most clearly and or being future-oriented thinkers. And so even if we were saving for an office expansion, maybe we weren't saving for that emergency. And so when that emergency hits, things are just going to get a little wonky there. But for future planning, of course, in regards to retirement and things like that, if we are solely self-employed and we don't work for a corporation or agency, we're not having, our contributions being max, or we're not, funding a 401k and things like that. Financial planners are the ones who are going to help you get set up with certain things. And for self-employment individuals, there's a couple different ways that you can kind of secure some finances for the future, and whether that's be contributing to a traditional IRA, a simple IRA, or an S&P plan. They can really decide you what's going to work best with one, your business structure, but also just your personal lifestyle. We all live in very different circumstances, and maybe our partners have different plans and vice versa. So financial planners are really going to be the ones and the experts in the room to point you in the right direction of how to fund those plans. And then if you are, having a retirement plan or something like that, a big question is like, well, how much do I put in the retirement plan in order to secure, finances for the future? And it's not really that straightforward based on the lifestyle that you live now and the lifestyle that you want to continue to live kind of closer to the retirement or post-retirement. But ideally, it's going to be between 15 and 20% of what you're bringing in. Now, usually that number really scares people, and they're like, well, I can't do 20%, so they just don't do anything. But a better way of looking at that is just kind of starting on the micro level and starting little by little based on what you can do. Of course, we all need to be paying ourselves and taking home money in order to live our life. So we're not going to be able to maybe fully fund our retirement funds in the beginning, if not any time, depending on what's going on. But we need to be contributing something so we can secure that safety for us in the future. Because if not, again, like this is not going to be something that's, or your private practice and the way that you're living your life self-employment wise just isn't going to be a long-lasting thing. Because again, we need to have that security and safety for the future that just isn't there in private practice, but that we can put there with financial planners' helps and things like that. In regards to the different kind of savings plans, there's all different thought processes on how much money you should have in those savings accounts, whether it be personal or professional. Suggestions are like 3 months of your personal expenses and 3 months of your business expenses in a savings account. But on the safer side, I like to try to build mine up closer to 6 months. Of course, again, that is not a thing that you just like have. You have to build it up. So maybe it looks like for, the first year or 2 years, I'm contributing, 3% or 5% or 10% into each of these funds to build them up. But then once they're built up, then I have that safeguard. And then maybe once they're built up, I can step back a little bit on the emergency fund contribution, and I can pay myself a little bit more. Or I can start thinking about, do I want to add a little bit more to an office expansion thing or marketing or whatever the other funds may be. But again, making sure we have that safety in our business is really important. And it's just unfortunate that, we have to be the ones doing it as self-employed individuals, but there can be such great autonomy and individuality in that, is that we can pick and choose how we want to do the things, and we can rely on those professionals like financial advisors and accountants to be able to assist us along those paths. Another big question that people usually ask financial planners is what's the number one mistake that people are doing within their businesses? This is, a hard question to answer, but a couple things that I've found out from talking to financial planners and just doing some research is that one of the biggest mistakes is putting 100% of your profits back into the business. And by doing this, you as the business owner are not paying yourself, you're not putting away for your taxes, and you're not saving for emergencies or retirements or those vacations that we so desperately need in this field for self-care. So you want to make sure that what you're bringing in is being dispersed into the company in ways that it can. But most of us aren't running nonprofits, and so we're able to pay ourselves and put away and do things like that. We would need to take care of our businesses in the ways that works for us personally. And then another kind of thing that I stumbled across in regards to mistakes is that sometimes people who are in private practice in the mental health and wellness fields are like kind of on their second career or so. And so they, maybe take out all of their current retirement funds to start this business, and then they put themselves in a very risky position because you're providing yourself very limited cushions to kind of fall back on if your business is not as successful as you planned it to be. I think as mental health and wellness professionals, we're in a pretty good space in regards to overhead. If we want, we can keep our overhead predominantly lower compared to other brick and mortar businesses. But this is just also something to keep in mind in regards to how you're funding your business when you're starting out and how you're continuing that financial health throughout your business. Another thing is just kind of some advice from financial planners is, of course, not a very straightforward answer depending on how you structure your business and how you choose to navigate it. But after you're turning a profit, so once what you're bringing in exceeds what you're putting out for your expenses, you want to make sure that you're paying yourself. A lot of self-employed individuals forget that we have to pay ourselves, and you just really want to make sure that, again, you're taking care of yourself in the ways that that you can. And then kind of wrap it all up, just another thing in regards to like when meeting with accountants or meeting with bookkeepers or financial planners is like, don't be embarrassed. Like, of course, like we are not accountants or financial planners. So like we don't understand all the ins and outs of that world. And the reason that we're going to an expert to help us out in that field is because we don't know. One, maybe we just don't know because we weren't exposed to that growing up. Two, grad school definitely didn't teach us that. And three, that's just not our expertise. Our expertise is in the helping field. They're in the helping field in a very different way, but we can benefit from their services just like the clients of ours benefit from our expertise and our services. So never be embarrassed when you go in there and maybe you don't have as much saved for the future as you would like, given your age and so forth. It's fine. They're going to be able to work with you. It's better to start late than never. And they're going to be able to help you and figure out the best plan for you. But just kind of in closing, sorry this video has gone on a little bit longer than I thought it would, but like we've all got money issues, and kind of as mental health and wellness professionals, we know that these are normal to have and that sometimes these are unavoidable things. Like we've got to pay our bills, we've got to do certain things. But we also know that if we ignore our issues, they're going to turn into something bigger, and kind of those patterns are going to become more ingrained and derail us from really reaching our goals. So with like our mental health and wellness knowledge, I think we can really couple that to really work for our business even better, because we understand the way patterns are designed within humans and how they just kind of autopilot spirals sometimes. So we don't want that to happen within our businesses, and we don't want a toxic business and financial environment, because again, finances are what is going to keep us alive in business and what's going to be able to provide for our families. So we really want to make sure that we're getting the assistance we need, whether it be from a financial planner or whatever. If you need any like local suggestions, there's a handful that I really trust. I really like Larry Judd. He's my personal accountant, and I've recommended him to a lot of people. His rates are pretty affordable. There's also several financial planners locally that I can talk to you about. But then if you ever need to explore just like some